Hey, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Any of those you want to call me, you can. This will be a get ready with me, and it's at a weird angle with a weird background because I moved again. I don't know if anyone kind of like caught on in my past videos. I've been kind of like hinting at it. I was trying very hard not to spoil it because I kept talking about it in videos, and then I have to go back and edit it out. Because if you know me in real life and you're seeing this, it's nothing personal. I didn't tell anyone. I don't like to, if you know me, you know that I don't like talking about stuff before it's actually happened. But now it's pretty much all happened. In a few days it'll be officially over. But I just wanted to film this so I can actually start uploading videos again because I haven't uploaded in over a week. But I'm gonna get started. I did bring a full thing of makeup, my big Sephora bag full of makeup that I was also, there's the stain on the wall behind me, still not gone, but that I was gonna use while I was here. But I did bring a specific, my small Sephora makeup bag. And I also just got a new Sephora makeup bag, which I'll show you later, not now. But I brought this makeup bag full of, because I wanted this get ready with me to be kind of like another new to me makeup video. I've been wanting to do this literally for like 2 months and I just haven't gotten around to it. But this, at this point, especially because this video is so old, also I have my window open, my fan on, and the dumpster's now deciding to come right now. Sorry about that, but yeah, absolutely nothing in this video will be actually new. It's all just new to me, meaning I've never used it myself, and I don't have a completely full face of makeup, which is pretty good because I don't need all new stuff in my collection all the time. But I'm just gonna get started with what I do have. I will also be grabbing a few things from my like normal makeup bag, like eyeshadow primer, which is what I'm gonna start with. But yeah, I am filming this before work, which I don't really like to do, but I did not have a choice at all. Life has just been getting in the way, which is why it's been over 2 months of me trying to film this video. But I guess I'll just kind of talk about the move a little bit. But basically, yeah, I did move here because, so like, I know I literally just moved. I did an interstate move like 3 months ago. And I did that one for a job because I got a job in Nevada. Not originally, but I spent most of my life in California. I'm basically from California. And then about 3 months ago, I moved to Nevada for a job. I moved back to California, like where I was from, Southern California. I'm actually filming right now in my mom's apartment. It's like my old apartment, but technically it's my mom's apartment now. Yeah, so I did another interstate move for a different job. Eyeshadow will be pretty quick because it's only a duo. This is the Color Snack eyeshadow duo from Ulta Beauty. This is like Ulta Beauty collection. It's just 2 shades. This one is in the shade Chocolate Bite. I saw these a long time, but also I'm not using clean brushes. No, I only brought 1 set of brushes. I didn't bring brush cleaner. That's really not gonna be happening while I'm here. I have enough stuff to do. But I saw these online and I was not gonna get them. I was like, who wants to buy a $12 eyeshadow duo? Not me. Then I was in Ulta. I had never shopped in store. I'm gonna like do my makeup as I'm talking. That's probably a good idea. But and I have my mirror down here, so sorry if I'm looking away. Also, I don't know why I chose the biggest brush, but I always do that, I guess. I was in store, which I'm usually not in store, but I excuse me. Oh my god, this video is already horrible. I was waiting in line, and you know how they have some of their stuff just like on the side for when you're waiting in line to try to get you, and they got me because I saw this and I was like, that is so pretty. It's really nothing even special, but I was like, that is so cute. It looks so easy and simple, and I feel like especially lately with how crazy my life has been, I bought this when I was in the throes of moving. I'm using a different brush that has a bunch of eyeshadow on it, so I have to get it off. But yeah, I was like, that looks so easy and convenient, and I really at the time was searching for something that was like super convenient because my life was hectic, and I was like, that would be great for traveling. And here I am traveling again, kind of. So yeah, I got it. Long story short. Anyway, back to the move. So yeah, I don't even know where to start, to be honest. It has been a really crazy 4 months. I'm gonna use my NYX glitter primer. I probably went overboard with that matte shade, and as always, like, the lighting is making it look a little more stark and unblended than it actually is. But I probably should have been a bit more careful for using this for the first time. In person, it looks fine. Also, I work with all straight men. They don't notice a thing. Okay, tangent. Kind of keep going on tangents, but yesterday I accidentally used a foundation that was my winter shade, so I looked pale. And I got to work and I was feeling very self-conscious. I don't know why, I should have known. I was feeling very self-conscious, and I sat down at my desk, and me and all of my coworkers, we chat with each other because there are literally only 4 of us in there. It's kind of like Severance, actually. But anyway, I just turned to him and I was like, do I look pale? And he was like, no. And he turned around. It was probably even faster than that. Like, he did not only did he not care, I genuinely think he did not even notice how off and how pale I was looking. But that was honestly kind of great. So now I'm gonna use this, the only other shade in the palette, the metallic shade. I'm very excited for this. It is so pretty. It's very punchy, but like, it doesn't feel heavy. It feels super light. So I don't think it's gonna crease throughout the day. And that was really easy, so I'm very glad actually that I got this duo. I don't think it was a waste. So anyway, back to my move. I don't even know if I'm gonna get through this in this video. I'm just all over the place, as always. I'm gonna lean forward a bit and be a bit awkward while I do my eyeliner because I need to anchor my hand. But this is the Urban Decay metallic eyeliner in Double Life, and this is just an Urban Decay matte eyeliner in Demolition. I'm gonna use this one on my bottom waterline and this one on my top waterline. I don't even know how to hold it. Okay. But yeah, I got there. I had my apartment set up. I will link my Get Ready With Me where I talk about that move, just for context if you haven't seen it or if you've forgotten kind of what it's all about, because I'm not going to go over all of that again. But I got to my apartment, kind of like was trying to start to settle in, buying furniture, because the only furniture I got there with was my couch and my bed set. So like my bed frame, my nightstand, and my drawers. Everything else, oh, and my bookshelves, but I didn't have any other furniture, like not even lamps. So I was kind of getting used to the place. Honestly, it was not all that it seemed to be in the beginning. First of all, the people there, like, this is not to generalize or to offend everyone. I probably honestly shouldn't even say it. I'll just say this. Sorry, I keep getting notifications. People are very different from any other type of people I've ever met. Whew, I got an eyelash in my eye. That's what I get for talking smack. I'm just gonna wipe any fallout from under my eyes. I only have a tiny bit though. And you know, I was like really liking what I did at my job, but I had like a really difficult job. I was working in R&D. If you've ever worked in R&D, you'll know how like difficult that can be, especially like at a startup and with supervisors who maybe like aren't as good of supervisors as they really should be. And I was just having some issues with my apartment that I had really loved. This is the e.l.f. Luminizing. yeah, Luminous Putty Primer. I've tried the regular version, but I've never tried the Luminous one. So I'm hoping this is actually luminous, because this is the only primer I'm going to put on my face right now. And oh my god, I definitely put way too much. What was I doing? Oh my god, that's so much. Oh, I messed up. But I don't want to waste it, so I'm just going to actually put it on my face, which is another bad idea. I was having issues with my apartment. Like, from when I moved in, there were, even though everything was supposed to be updated and all the appliances were like brand new, a lot of things ended up not working and they had never been fixed. So the washer, it ended up being something with the line, but the washer didn't work. Like, it rarely would go through an entire cycle. Most of the time it would just stop halfway through the wash. The kitchen sink was dripping, and it was like brand new installed right before I got there, but it was already dripping as soon as I got there. One of the windows was painted shut. I had issues with one of the toilets. A piece of my vent above my stove it just fell off and you couldn't put it back on, and it was kind of just like, you know, like all that glitter is not gold. I had valet trash, which is where like you leave your trash outside your door and people come and pick it up. They were not picking it up, and like I kept reaching out to like the front office. They would never answer their messages, which I kind of knew, because in my like story about moving there I mentioned, oh, I also have coffee, which is another story somehow. Like everyone was saying, yeah, the management is so bad, and even my coworkers who had previously lived there were like, yeah, the management sucks there. And I was kind of okay with management sucking, because I was used to that. Like in Southern California, you just like get what you get and you don't get upset, because it's so hard to find a place and it's so expensive. But like if management is not answering their like calls and emails, but you also have maintenance issues and like a whole bunch of issues, that is a problem, especially because I was paying for a luxury apartment. So when they say luminous, they mean that there's actual glitter in here, which is not really an issue because I'm just gonna put foundation on top of it. But I don't know, that's just kind of weird to me, but I don't hate it and I will use it up. I got it for free anyway. For my concealer color corrector type product, I'm gonna use the NYX Pro Fix Stick correcting concealer. So this is like a color corrector and concealer in one, and this is in the shade 0.4 or CCSO 0.4, one of those, and it's in dark peach. So I was really struggling with the apartment already, and I had these upstairs neighbors that were actually this is like a turning into a story time. This is not even like a catch up with me, this is turning into a story time. I'm not gonna say all the details because I can't right now, which I always say, but it's always true. But basically I had these really crazy upstairs neighbors that were constantly, and when I say constantly, I mean literally, I wish I was joking, literally 24 hours a day. There would never be more than like half an hour where they weren't making noise, and it was so loud, like just stomping, but stomping to a level that's like, how are you stomping that hard? But it was only a mom, a kid, and then occasionally a grandpa who lived there, stomping, banging, like either banging on the front door if someone was trying to get in, or like it sounded like, what it sounded like was they were throwing bowling balls on the floor. So I don't know what they kept like dropping or throwing on the floor. And then moving furniture. Why were you moving furniture at 3 a.m.? But it was constant, just constant noise. I was actually feeling myself going insane from lack of sleep because I could not sleep. It was so loud, I'm not kidding. Like, not only would my ceiling fan shake, one time it was they were stomping so hard that my desk and all the contents, and I mentioned this before, my desk and all the contents on my desk started shaking like there was an earthquake. That is how hard, insanely hard they were stomping and just like throwing stuff around. So it was really, really difficult. And you guys kind of, if you've been watching my videos, you kind of know about the stomping anyway. For my foundation, this is some sort of foundation sample. I can't remember which one. Maybe it's, I'm not even gonna guess actually. It is a foundation sample from one of those foundation packs that I always get. I really couldn't tell you which one it is, unfortunately, but also I probably wasn't gonna buy it because I have already too many foundations. But it's in the shade 23, light medium golden, and it looks like this, if that rings a bell. I'm hoping it matches me so I don't have a repeat of yesterday, but it was just absolutely insane. So I had not only the maintenance issues, but I had that, and honestly I couldn't tell you which one is worse. Why does this look not golden? It just looks neutral to me. What do you think? Also, I probably put too much on those cheeks. Not those cheeks, these cheeks. Oh, and I just got some in my hair. That's amazing. So I was already having issues there. And then I started beefing with my management, my property management office, because after a while, you know, like I can be nice and polite to, this is too light for me right now. Oh well, we're just gonna have a repeat of yesterday, but they're not gonna notice again, so that's okay. Yeah, I started beefing with my property management office because they weren't answering, and you can only be nice and forgiving and kind of a pushover for so long when it's affecting you that badly. Like, even past how much it cost, which was already ridiculous enough, it was actually affecting me mentally. Like, every time I would hear any sort of noise, my blood pressure would spike. I did get a tiny bit of that in my mouth and it tastes horrible, just so you know. So I was already dealing with issues at home, and then at work was getting kind of, no, not kind of, really bad, because my supervisor just had it out for me. I don't know why. I started with 2 other people. This is actually such a horrible shade match for me. I'm gonna mix it with something. I have these like turn up the base foundation samples, and I'm gonna use the dark golden shade, just a tiny bit of it, to put kind of like all over my face. But this looks crazy. This is actually, I would say, worse than yesterday. But yeah, work was just not a fun place because my supervisor had it out for me. I started with 2 people in the exact same position, doing the exact same things, and for some reason my supervisor always had something to say to me, and I'm not gonna assume why, but I started with 2 white men and she never had a problem with anything they did. So hopefully this kind of evens out the foundation a bit more. In person it looks better. I don't know, on camera it doesn't really look that much better, but oh well. But yeah, work was getting really difficult, and then I got injured at work. I got a chemical in my eye because they weren't providing us the proper PPE. I can't go too much into the details of this, but yeah, I got injured. Even though the same injury had happened to someone else 2 weeks prior, they did not change their like policies or PPE or procedures. So I was injured. They didn't do anything about it really. They kind of just were like, why didn't you do something about it? And then they sent me home. The next day I was injured again from something else, like the same process but a different step in the process, because again they didn't have the proper PPE to be handling those types of materials. And guess what? They fired me. They fired me for completely trumped up charges. They were like, you didn't report it, so we don't trust you, and like we did an investigation, and because of this investigation and the fact that we don't trust you, we're letting you go. For powder, I'm gonna use my Makeup Forever HD Skin Setting Powder in the This is the what is this? Oh my god, I don't even like know the full name of this, but this is, okay, this is the blurring version. I have the original one, and I love that. This is like, they came out, I think last year. Yeah, last year they came out with a blurring version of their setting powder, and technically I have gone through a little mini of it, but I used it in a Franken instead of kind of just using it as it is. And this is in the shade 3.110 Golden. I've never used it before. I'm gonna peel off the little plastic bit. So yeah, they fired me. They tried to get me to sign, this is all relevant to the move, by the way. They tried to get me to sign a severance contract with them, which was like barely any severance. It was one paycheck worth of severance. So no, obviously I'm not gonna do that. But there were, in the contract, it was like, you cannot report us anywhere. I was like, you really thought I was gonna do that? All right, this is what it looks like without the sticker. This is the sifter. I don't know. I don't know exactly how much to put in the cap. But yeah, I'll try the little powder puff. The last one of these I had, I gave away to a friend because I didn't use powder puffs back then, and I regretted it almost instantly because these are so nice. So I'm just gonna put a bunch on it, see how it goes. Let's see. All right, that was one eye. Probably put too much. Yeah, I definitely put too much on this under eye. I'll try to dust that away. Here's my highlighting brush. I'm not even gonna wipe the highlight off. I'm just gonna, I guess I'll just like try baking today on one eye. You could definitely see the highlight under my eyes, but the guys in my office won't see it. But back to the story. Yeah, they definitely, first of all, there was no investigation. They never like had any evidence or results or anything like that. They never actually investigated anything because it was about 3 weeks between when all this happened and when I was fired. An investigation, first of all, they've never investigated anyone else's injuries. So I know that that was a lie. Like, someone literally had the same injury as me 2 weeks prior, and they rushed her straight to the emergency room. They like let her go back to work right away. Whereas with me, I was literally sitting in an office on like desk duty for 3 weeks while they investigated the process. And there are literally cameras everywhere in the lab. I work in a lab. It would have taken 2 minutes to investigate what happened, not 3 weeks. That's that. As far as the powder, is it blurring? I don't really know if I could say, because I'm already wearing like a blurring primer. And then also the fact that they were like, you didn't report it, but I literally did. I literally did. So yeah, they're obviously getting reported to an agency. I did not, spoiler, I did not sign that severance agreement. And you know, again, just for legal reasons, I'm not gonna say who, like, I'm not gonna say the company. I probably shouldn't even be talking about this, but I just, like, the past 2 years I've been so secretive about everything. I just want to get something off my chest. But this mirror that I've been holding up is my IT Cosmetics Your Most Beautiful You Matte Bronzer, Radiance Luminizer, and Brightening Blush Palette. And it says Laugh, Love, Live on the back. Yeah, I've had this for maybe like 6 months now. I have never used it. It's just a little face palette, not little, it's gigantic actually, but it's a face palette. I'll start with bronzer. And again, I've never used this, so I don't want to go too heavy, but I do need some bronzer. So oh yeah, it's not very pigmented anyway, so I can go a little bit heavier. But yeah, so I was able to get away from that job. There were also, even though I like research and being in a research lab, there were a lot of downsides to that job. Like, we were working in trailers, and every day they would like have someone, this is actually TMI, but they would, in part of the waste management, we would smell the whole process because what they were venting out of their machines was literally pointed directly or it was like funneling the air into the AC system for the lab like trailers. So we would smell that every day for like half an hour straight. We would just smell sewage, pure sewage. And we didn't have, like, other than porta potties, we didn't have our own bathrooms, even though this is like a $1 billion invested company, you know. Sorry, I'm trying to not mess up my contour, so I'm not talking while I'm doing this. But yeah, I was trying to stay positive about being wrongfully terminated, and literally the next day, and I did report them the same day that I was fired, but literally the next day I got a call about a job that I applied to here in December that I had never heard back from, and they were like, yeah, interviews are tomorrow. And then, you know, I did the interview the next day, like 10 minutes after, or maybe like 15 minutes after I did that interview, they texted me, they were like, you got the job. Now I'm gonna try the blush, which is a very, very bright blush, so I'm hoping it works out. I just literally tapped in once and it looks like this. So I'm not gonna tap in anymore, and I'm gonna be very light-handed. So yeah, I just had to figure out moving back here, and my job is basically, I work for the county now. I work in the public health sector. I'm gonna take this powder brush that I've been using previously, and just, not with anything on it, but I'm just gonna try to blend out that blush. Now I'll take this highlight brush again, and of course just go into that highlight. I don't know why I have to explain things like you all are children, but oh, that is a bold highlight. Okay, hopefully I didn't block it with this gigantic mirror. But I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna get out of the lease, and I was like, I don't want to have to pay to break this lease because it's a crappy apartment anyway. And then on top of all that, the lock on my patio door, just, I don't know if like it had never worked and I just never noticed, because I didn't really open it unless I had company over, and they would kind of just use the patio. I honestly had never even stepped foot out there, but I noticed that my patio door did not, like, the lock was broken, and I lived on a ground floor unit. I'm gonna use my Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. I never remember what shade it is, so don't worry about it. And I called the emergency maintenance line, because we are supposed to have emergency maintenance for emergencies. They never answered. And they never got back to me, and I was literally up all night just like terrified, because I literally have an unlocked door and I'm on a ground floor unit, so I'm extremely susceptible to break-ins. First thing in the morning, I sent a message to the front office. I honestly wasn't expecting a reply back, but they were like, oh, sorry that happened. I guess we'll send someone. And they were like, we'll try to send someone later. When do you want them? I was thinking, what? This is literally an emergency. Send someone now. But I was like, you know what? I have not slept literally all day. I'm gonna like go get a coffee so that I don't actually pass out. So I was like, okay, come around noon. And they were like, that doesn't work for us. What do you mean? You don't want to send someone now, but you don't want to send someone later when I am available? And they were like, we'll send someone at 2. Like, I literally have a lock on my door that doesn't work, and you're not taking this seriously. So I wait around in my apartment until then. They never show up. And that was just the e.l.f. clear brow gel. I think that might have been the mascara side, but I just used both as brow gel. And this is the Tower 28, I think, Make Waves mascara in the brown shade Drift. My first tube of this was really good. This one has been like, I keep getting clumps of mascara on the wand. I don't know what that's about. But other than that, I really like this mascara. And I need to hurry up because I only have like 2 more minutes to get ready. But, so yeah, they finally, I like told the office again, and they're trying to get into an argument with me. They were like, well, you just should have waited longer. I was like, no. I need to go about my day, and like, you guys are clearly, you don't care about my safety or, you know, following the lease agreement that you're supposed to not only have working things, but you're supposed to fulfill my maintenance request. So later on, maintenance comes over. This was like in the evening at this point, and they try to act like literally nothing's wrong with the door, and I'm showing them it doesn't lock, fix it. They don't even know how to fix it. I don't know how that's possible. But finally, after a few hours of going back and forth, they finally fixed the lock, and they were like, yeah, and you just have to make sure when you shut it, you like put it in this specific angle and you slam it this hard. So at that point, I was like, yeah, I don't even care about this. Like, I'm going to break this lease and I'm not going to pay them, because they, like, that was the last straw for me. And then my upstairs neighbors had an absolute, like, all of them up there had an all-day brawl. It was like a 12-hour meltdown, and it was so loud, and I have a bunch of videos of it on my Ring camera, and it was just like so ridiculous that it was, if I wasn't like in the midst of like a horrible situation, I would have been laughing about it because it was just so crazy. I usually don't like showing my mascara on camera, but I need to get this done. So I was like, I'm leaving. And you know what I found out? They never even signed, like, this is how lazy the front office was. They never even signed the lease contract. So technically I wasn't even bound to it anyway. And they were like, oh no, you have to pay us like a 2-month notice on top of a fee for breaking the lease, which ended up being about 2 months anyway, like more than 2 months. So like, I'm not gonna pay you for 4 months of rent for like not even being here, and the 3 months I was here, this was like the worst place I've ever lived. Like, I'm not even gonna tell you some of the details of what my upstairs neighbors were doing, because it's actually like graphic and will probably get my channel flagged. It's that bad. Finally, lips, and I really need to hurry up, but I got out of there, or I took myself out of there. But currently, like, as I'm filming this, all my stuff is still there. I was able to, after so long of searching, oh, and then also in the middle of all this, I went to California to buy a car and then back to Nevada. I have a few different lip products. So I don't know why I took the cap off. I have the Urban Decay lipstick, I don't know, in 1993. Then I have this ABH lipstick in Toffee, which I've actually had for years and years, and I've never used it. It's like, they're pretty much almost the same shade. I don't know why I bought this one, because I bought this one a few months ago. And then I have this LYS lip oil in Chocolate Hazelnut, which I've never used. I think I'm gonna go with the ABH just because this is so old and I feel bad. But don't even remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, my stuff is still there because I got an apartment here, but it's not ready to move into yet, which is why I'm staying at my old place. And I got next day movers, which means they're the same movers I had for my last move, which means they're gonna pack up all my stuff in a truck, drive straight to my new apartment. So I couldn't move my stuff until my new apartment's ready. So all my stuff is still over there. I have an outdoor and an indoor Ring camera set up just so no one tries to mess with my stuff. This is what it looks like. That's very dark for work. So, especially working as a public servant now, I'm gonna put that lip oil is a little bit lighter, just see if it lightens it at all. I don't think anyone would actually say anything to me, but I get self-conscious. But yeah, it's like barely doing anything other than making it shiny. And yeah, I am gonna fly out there this weekend, coordinate the move. The office never even answered me about like doing a walkthrough for my apartment or anything, so I don't even know how that's gonna work, but I will not be in that apartment after this weekend. So that's the end. And I'm just gonna use Urban Decay All Nighter, which I guess is no more, but this is the setting spray I brought with me. And that's kind of, I didn't talk about everything because this video is already too long and I actually need to go, I'm late. But that's the story of how I moved again. I'll talk about this coffee in another video. Yeah, I actually really gotta go because I'm very late. I'm not kidding. I'll see you in my next video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, but I'll see you in my next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.